Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pandem Presents. We're with author Ada Berry. She's the author of Monkey Boy. Well, what's the full title? I didn't say the full title. I just said Monkey Boy.
It's the day Monkey Boy comes to school.
A Monkey Boy comes to school, and this is a book catered towards special needs children. We're seeing the world through their eyes.
Correct.
So, let me get back to. I'm a hot mess this morning or today. So, how have you been?
I have been doing well. Have been well.
And
Um,
how are you thriving through this pandemic?
as best as can because of what I do, and of course we're required most of the time to be face to face. So there's no such thing as being too careful, I would say.
Yeah,
But for the most part, I've been trying to do what it takes to stay free from, you know, all
yeah.
the negative things that are going on in this pandemic.
Yes, and your profession, you're a teacher, correct?
Correct, a special ed teacher. I am.
Special ed teacher.
Hmm.
So, and how are the kids handling this pandemic? Are
Um,
they understanding what's going on?
well, for the most part, the older kids they understand,
Hmm.
but the younger kids
Okay.
they don't.
They don't, yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
we do social stories to keep them informed,
Hmm.
the best that we can to get them
Right.
to understand. You may be in class this week, next week you may be learning virtually. So
Right.
we
Yeah.
have to keep them on the loop of what's happening, because when you're dealing with special needs kids, um, schedules are a very important part of their life. So sometimes when
Right.
those schedules are hacked or interrupt, it becomes a
Hmm.
problem in the learning phase for them. So we got to be very careful
Uh,
how we interact with our children, our special needs children at that. Yeah,
because they thrive off of routine, basically. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yes. I know like the parents have been struggling when we did home. Oh, hold on, I think we froze, so we're gonna pause for a second. The the parents have been dealing with what like last year when most of the kids had to stay home. I
mhm.
know that I would hear a lot of on Facebook. You hear, the parents really going through the struggle because they're not getting the support and help that they would normally get. It was greatly reduced, so to say. Yeah.
Mhm.
I know it was hard on all parents, but I thought about
Mhm.
the parents of special needs kids. I'm
Oh
like,
yes. Oh yes. And it was
yeah,
very
yeah,
difficult for
because they're
them.
used to.
Hmm. Because a lot of the special needs kids that I deal with, the structure is not there. You know, the
Mm,
kids, when I'm virtually doing the lessons with the children, they're running around. It's hard for the parent to get
mm,
them to sit, to
right.
go through a routine or anything. It was very difficult for them. And they're like, well, I just can't do this. So what we did, for the ones that it was impossible to get the kid to sit or to go through a lesson, we had to do packets for them to do at home, because it was impossible to get them to sit down and do a Zoom lesson with you. So it was very difficult for them, because it was difficult for the parents
Hmm.
to, for the kids to go through a lesson. We had to give them packets, which were, paperwork, instead of,
Yeah,
going through a lesson with them. So, yeah,
yes,
it was
yeah,
kind of hard. And we're back at it
yeah.
again, because the numbers here in South Carolina, where I'm at, it's high
Hmm.
again. So this week is
Oh,
virtual. Next week we'll be back in class face to
School.
face again. So, it's been a rocky road up and down. So we're trying to do the best we can. And this has caused a
Yeah.
lot of our kids to be behind, so we're doing the best that we can.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to develop a routine when you're in
Mhm.
and out of school like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that.
So that, yeah. So tell me about your book, your children's book.
Okay. Okay. The day Monkey Boy came to school is about a monkey boy who father dropped him off to school for the very first time ever. His actions are out of the norm, so the children are like in shock to see how he behaves. And but if you read the book, you will find out why he acts the way he does.
Wow. So my daughter is going to be
Mhm.
reading your book, and then
Oh,
she's going to be actually doing the review for it. I have her
okay.
review all the children's books.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
so we're looking forward to reading your book.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's great. Um, see, tell me about the passion behind your book. Like, what was the driving force for the purpose of you writing this book?
I wrote this book because myself, I too had issues with anxiety when I was a little child, and it affected the way I behaved. It affected the way I learned, and the way others treated me,
Mm-hmm.
because of the anxiety that I dealt with.
Right.
But you know, throughout my childhood, it affected me in a way that I can relate to other children
Mm-hmm.
who goes through this as well now. And I can
Right.
see it, I can spot it a mile away,
Mm-hmm.
to know, okay, this is what's happening. A lot of time, it's not that the kid doesn't know the material or what's going on, is because they're scared, they're afraid, and a lot of things going on in their mindset. A lot of us, we learn differently, and it's just finding out how or what makes you're unique and different. So this is why I really wanted to do this, and also because I'm a special needs teacher, and I've seen a lot of times when my kids come in, they are dealing with anxiety issues as well. And sometimes they're
Mm-hmm.
not treated, the same as other kids are. So I wanted to give a little information to parents, to other children, when reading this book, to let them know that this is, something we all need to be aware of.
Hmm. Hold on. Tell me about the passion behind your book.
Okay, wrote the book because of my childhood.
Right.
Myself, I was dealing with anxiety issues that kept me from learning, kept me from doing a lot of things that normal children would do. Even
Right.
in my teenage life, I didn't like doing public speaking, or it just affected my grades and everything.
Right.
So writing this book, it allowed me to see other children a mile
Mm-hmm.
away that is dealing with this issue. A lot of times it's not that they
Mm-hmm.
can't learn, um, it is because of what they're dealing with and how they learn that makes them different. So I
Right.
wrote this book to a way of being proactive. I would say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to let kids and parents know that there is someone else out there besides you who are dealing with some of these same issues you are dealing with, and
Right. Right.
there are outlets and help that you can get
Yeah.
and receive. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I remember when I was in elementary school, I started out. I was in a special ed class, or I guess it was a it's special ed. It was the smaller classrooms, but for
Mm-hmm.
me, I had I don't know if they ever really identified what it was, but I did have a learning disability. I It was more like every now and then I would see the words kind of backwards, or
Could have been
the letter,
dyslexia.
yeah, some type
Yeah.
of dyslexia, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what
Okay.
caused me to be in there. But
Okay.
yeah, and it was just, and I think the smaller classroom, it was less anxiety for me because
Mm-hmm.
it was, a smaller classroom, and the teacher could pay more attention to each student. Those are the reasons so that they put me in there. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember that. I remember going through that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is, it's stressful, and it's especially like with this pandemic, I know there's like single moms dealing with special needs kids, and they don't have a lot of support to begin with, and then they're going to need additional support.
That's
And it's
correct.
really hard. Yeah. Yeah, cuz
That's
my mom was a single mom, so
oh yeah.
she was exhausted by the time it
Mm-hmm.
came down to say help me with homework.
Okay.
So there's a lot of times when I just didn't get the help with homework because she
Mm-hmm.
passed out, or she's working a second job.
Okay.
um, I'm home with my grandma, and you trying to do homework and my grandma's not American.
Okay. Okay. I
It was
understand.
like, yeah, she's from Trinidad. Their whole learning system's completely different. So
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
not only that, her mother took her out of school to raise her other siblings. So
Okay.
the education I needed and the support I needed wasn't there, and not by anybody's fault. It's just domino effect. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly. And I can
yeah,
identify with that as well because that was
yeah,
what was going on with me as well. Yeah.
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 So okay. So how can parents be proactive in educating their kids on respecting and empathizing with special needs children? Which I assume, which is this is what the book is about. Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Literature, just getting
Lit.
literature, social stories, to
Mhm.
help I call the general ed population, um,
Yeah.
to help them to understand. Now, when I was coming along, they didn't have inclusion. Um, Today, they have
Yeah.
inclusion where they have the special need children to go into the general ed population to learn
Right.
or to have specials or whatever the case may be. That
Yeah.
helps them, but as a
Yeah.
parent, I would say, you know, to volunteer or, just get to know
Mhm.
the whole atmosphere of a special needs child because um, a lot of times the kids don't understand. They'll sit and
Mhm.
they'll look at a child act out or have a
Mhm.
meltdown and they don't know what's happening or what's going on. So a lot of
Right.
times, if the parent would be educated, then they could educate the child. But if not, they'll only get it from the school. So I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to play a part in educating themselves as well as
Mhm.
their children about special needs children.
Mhm. Your screen is trying to cut your face off. your,
Uh-oh,
your screen.
sorry.
It
Uh-oh.
has you like, there you go.
Better?
It's like you're
Okay.
slowly sliding off.
Okay.
You're good.
I think it's this
Uh,
this computer. Okay.
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean yeah, that's also very important. I think the I'm seeing a lot of videos now where the kids are educating their parents on
Mm-hmm.
things like even racism and things
Oh
that
yeah.
I always watch that video of that teenage girl correcting her parents about their
Mm.
racism. And then I was just
Okay.
like, wow, wow. It's
Awesome.
these children, and then that's it. That nobody was
Mm-hmm.
teaching it, and then
Mm-hmm.
it was just continuing on. They're adopting their parents' attitude towards different things, so which is really bad.
That's good. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So how long
Mm-hmm.
have you been a special needs educator?
This is going on my 11th year,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. I started
Yeah.
late because I
Oh.
was, yeah, I had another, I was doing tailoring
Oh,
alterations.
really? Really?
Yeah, and my youngest son came along
Mhm.
very later in life,
Mhm.
and I just chose to do something differently when he came along because I was like,
Mm.
okay. But the reality of it was this was my intentions.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
because, as I said, what I was dealing with when I
Mhm.
started school, to do this, because of the anxiety, I withdraw from school, and I couldn't deal with
Mm.
it. Being called on, in school with everybody is in the class, and I just couldn't handle it. And
Yeah.
so, as you know, I got better, and prayed, and I'm a firm believer in God,
Yeah.
and I believe that a lot of things would change because
Mm.
He gave me strength to go through what I needed to
Right.
go through, and now I am in front of people. I'm doing all the things that I could not have done,
Right.
in my past. So I went back to school,
Mhm.
and I did I got a bachelor's in sociology and criminal justice, and then
Oh.
I got a master's in special ed. So that brought me to this point now. And it
Wow.
wasn't that I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
it was because of the
Mhm.
disability, it didn't allow me to overcome.
Mhm.
Now I can say I'm an overcomer. And that's why I cannot give up on
Right.
my children. I cannot give up on a special needs child. I don't care what
Mhm.
condition they come in to me, all of them are capable of learning something,
Mhm.
and
Right.
I will tell the parent, okay. And a lot of times I get negative feedback, I get negative report from what they believe. And I'm like, no, no,
Mm-mm.
I don't believe
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that
and,
you gotta it's changing the belief system and the
oh, yeah.
parent as well as helping the child. Yeah,
Mhm.
because the child goes home with the parent. So,
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
yeah.
That's for sure. But
Yeah.
you know what I do a lot of times? I get
Mhm.
permission to do videos and,
Mhm.
pictures of my children.
Right.
And I show the parents what they're capable of doing. And they're like, no, this is not my child. I had, believe it or not,
Wow.
when before we left for virtual again,
Mhm. Mhm.
I had a parent to come to the school and ask to speak to me. And
Mhm.
I'm saying, oh my goodness, what is going on now? Because
What's
of
good?
course,
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
some cases as a special education teacher, okay?
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I'm saying, okay, oh my goodness, what now? What's going on? So the secretary called down to my room and she was like, I have a parent who really needs to speak with you. I told him he can't come down the hall because of the pandemic, but you can come outside and speak with him.
Mhm.
So of course they gonna send a SOR officer, which was SRO, school resource officer out there.
Resource.
Yeah, to make sure everything
Mhm.
was good and whatnot. And so,
Mhm. Yeah.
which I never
Yeah.
had to deal with anything like that. But of course, I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? So I'm going
Yeah.
back in there. Parent, he gets out the car. He said, I want to know if you tied my child to a chair. And I'm like, what? I said to him, oh my goodness, you came after my job. You don't want me to work like this anymore. You don't want me to,
Yeah.
you know, because of what he was saying. And I was like, he
Yeah.
was like, I wanted to come in and peek my head in the door. Okay, I'm in South Carolina,
Mhm.
Mike, ask, because,
Mhm.
Southern country, whatever
Yeah.
you would call it.
I'm in Alabama, so I know.
Oh, okay.
I know. Say no more.
Okay, thank you. So rolled around, whatever, and got out and
Mhm.
came to me like that. And I was like, sir, no. And he was like, I wanted to come in and I wanted to see what was going on with him. And
Yeah.
I said, okay. I said, you're not supposed to come down the hallway. I said, but if you would like, you can come around the back and peep your head into, to the window or
Mhm.
whatever and see your child.
Mhm.
Okay, I made an exception because, of course, the resource officer was back there and everything. So
Right.
anyway, he did, and he came to the back, and it was actually nap time for them.
Mhm.
And he peeked his head to the door, and when I came back around, he was like, "Was that my child?" I was like, "Yes." You don't know your own child, whatever. But
Yeah.
anyway, he was shocked. He was shocked because he
Yeah.
could not believe. He told me, he said, the reason I came because I've had so many good reports about my child at school.
Wow.
And he said,
Wow.
I wanted to come to see whether it was true. And I
That's
was
that's a
thinking,
testament to you
I,
and
I
what you're
was
doing.
like, well, I was like, you didn't have to do it that way.
Right.
But, oh my
That's
goodness.
through my job.
Yeah, I said, you came at my job. And my principal, she was like, the
Yeah.
administrator, she was like, did you actually said that to him? I said, yes, I did. But, I just have a strong support system when it comes
Yeah.
to me advocating for my kids, regardless to, what I'm there for
Mhm.
them. And that's, I
Mhm.
go hard every day for them.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. That is something worth living for. I love that.
Mm.
That is great. That's so funny. But I like that you let him go and go look through the window to see his kid. And with
Mhm.
kids, it's the structure, and then they're not alone. There's other kids with them. So nap time's nap time. Everybody's going to lay down. There's not
Exactly.
anything else for them to do. So, and one
Exactly.
thing I've always learned with kids is the way they act in school and the way they act at home. Night and
You
day,
better believe it. You better believe it.
right?
You better believe it.
So
Yes, yes.
yeah, so yeah, I think that's awesome. I love that. So you've been a special so 11 years. That's
Yeah.
great. That is great. So
Mhm.
okay. What is a day in your life as a special needs teacher like? Like what would be the routine for you as a special ed teacher?
Oh, wow. I would say my day starts at 5:20 in the morning,
Mhm.
and sometimes it doesn't end until about 7 at night. Reason being,
Wow.
you have so much to do. You have a caseload,
Mm.
you have IEP goals, you have objectives that you have to meet, or you try to get the kids to,
Mhm.
you have tests, you have assessments, you have curriculums, you have, well, I do. I don't know about others, but I do.
Mhm.
I have where
Yeah.
I have to deal with the general ed teachers as well as my peers. It's a whole lot that is involved. I deal with
Right.
caseworkers because I have adopted kids. I have foster
Mm.
kids. I have abused kids. I have so
Right.
much going on that
Um,
sometimes it take a little more time out of my schedule than I needed to. But because I'm dedicated to what I
yeah.
do, I have to do what I need to do. And I do have a family as well. I'm married. I have two children, and I have one that is in
Yeah.
the eighth grade. As I said, I had him later in life, and he's in the eighth grade. So I have to stick behind him to make sure he is doing what he is doing. And I have to still. I'm a Southern woman that believes in cooking, having dinner, sitting at the
Right.
table at night, eating together as a family, talk about your day and what we can
Mm-hmm.
do to help support each other. So I'm religious as well, if you want
Mm-hmm.
to call it that. I'm that as well. So I still have Bible study
Mm-hmm.
on Wednesday nights. I still
Mm-hmm.
do prayer. Just I mean, my schedule is very busy. I cook and cater. I do decorations and parties and stuff like that. So
You cater
I
too?
I do, and I bake. I do a lot of things outside because, of course, if you know, the pay of a special education teacher is not much.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
I find other means to,
Mm-hmm.
supplement what my lifestyle is, so.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Wow. And that's true. Teachers do not get paid enough. I think if
mhm.
they paid teachers like they pay politicians,
Exactly.
or
Yeah,
let's
well,
flip it. Maybe pay the politicians what teachers get.
exactly. See how they would like it.
Oh, it'll be a whole lot of changing going on.
Okay. Yes, it would, honey.
Yeah. But because when you think about it, educators, and everybody says this, if it wasn't for educators, like who taught the lawyer to become a lawyer?
Hello. That's
Who
for
told
sure.
that child in elementary school that they could do it, that they can
Come
become
on.
what they want to become,
That's for sure.
So yeah, they
Mhm.
they
That's for
should get
sure.
paid more. Yeah, they should get paid for the profession that they endorse.
Mhm. Okay.
It's
Yes, the countless hours, because we go beyond 8 hours.
hold on. So I just want to let everyone know that the uh, the fuse tripped in the room where I was sitting doing the interview, so we lost about 10 minutes of footage. Um, well, actually, we didn't lose. We paused, but so when I come back on, I started with a new question. So if it sounds a little crazy or choppy to you guys, I apologize. Two parts to that question. How can
Mhm,
parents, and not just
mhm,
parents, there's a lot of parents, of course, but just businesses, small businesses, other businesses. I have a friend,
mhm,
her name's Tangler Oaks, and she has a company called T Borders. And she
mhm.
helps businesses, like she does consultation for businesses and things like that. And
Okay.
one thing she did that I loved, I think she did this last year, is
Mhm,
she had like a coffee cup, and she put like uh, pens and rulers and just things in it, and she gifted it to the teachers at her local school. And I thought that was
mhm.
really, really thoughtful. Like I never
That
most
was.
small businesses yeah, most small businesses
Mhm,
don't I don't think it's not that they're trying to be mean. I just think it's overlooked. They don't think to say
mhm.
how it's one way to market your business, because she's
Exactly.
sending them a cup with her tea border, with her logo, company, and
Mhm, mhm.
information. And then you're also it's a good thing. Like she said, it was a feel good kind of thing.
Right, right.
So how can we, besides blessing it, talk about it now, can we encourage businesses to do the same? I think like if businesses would come together and maybe offer notebooks, journals,
Mhm,
children's books, donate children's books, to
mhm.
teachers, things
Mm.
like that. I mean, that would be a great helpful way to
It
support
would.
educators. Yeah. Yeah,
It would.
because
It really would. Mhm.
yeah, we wouldn't be anywhere. No, somebody didn't take the time out to teach us.
That's that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what other everyone is fighting a battle. It's sad that we live in a society that spends more time teaching special needs children how to adapt and fit into society, and not enough time teaching society how to accept them. The Day That Monkey Boy Comes to School, written by Ada Berry, is a delightful tale about a little boy who's special needs, and this is his first time leaving his parents and attending school. So as he enters the classroom, we all know what it's like being there the first day of school, and you don't know anyone, especially if you enter the school in the middle of the day. You know, everybody stops and stare, and they're like, who's this kid? We've all dealt with that at some point in our lives. Well, what I love about this story is it teaches kids that, you know, to use their empathy. Just because, you know, a child acts differently, or you may not understand their actions, it doesn't mean that you should judge them. And it really does a great job of teaching our kids how to see these children and, you know, and understand that they're just like them. There's no difference. So I think it's a beautiful story. It should be in every classroom, every home. It's a conversation that I feel like should be normalized in the household of, you know, treating others with empathy and how you would like to be treated. Ways, I mean, what's the best way to support teachers as a parent, I guess?
I would say volunteer.
Volunteer. Oh,
Volunteer,
okay.
volunteer. I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of paperwork sometimes, I know some things are confidential, and
Right.
we get that, but if you know, you can go through the proper protocol to be a volunteer, you know,
Right.
background check and
Right.
different things like that. Offer assistance to the
Right.
teachers, and
Right.
you know, that would help a lot. That would help a lot because
That's not something I
it's
thought about.
demanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very demanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I didn't think I overlooked that one. So I was thinking supplies, but yeah, that's volunteer,
Mhm.
just chipping in. That makes a
Yes.
difference. Yeah. And
Help
how
when
can, no, go ahead.
whenever we have like different functions, come in and
Mm-hmm.
volunteer
Mm-hmm.
to help, you know, little Johnny, or you know, a
Yeah.
class. You don't even have to have kids at the school to volunteer. If you're in the community, just help
Yeah.
out with that.
Yeah. 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 Okay. And you know what? Small businesses can volunteer too, especially like
Oh,
at events, school events, and things like that. That's a good thing to do. Yeah. Yeah.
every year at
And
my
how can
school,
people support you as an author? Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was saying every year at my
No, go ahead.
school,
Yeah.
normally I would do in April Autism Awareness Day.
Okay.
And I get the small businesses in the area to donate to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
We do T-shirts for the kiddos. We do a little party, but we also have like a virtual interview with a parent with the kid with autism. A book, we read a
Yeah.
book, and
Mm-hmm.
to make the school aware, and also parents. We send out the virtual link to
Mm-hmm.
parents in the community that
Right.
everyone who wants to take a part in can. And the
Mm-hmm.
businesses usually they will donate to us to help support the cause.
That's nice. I like that.
Mhm.
And so it's in April. April is autism. I have to remember that. That's my birth month too, so I should remember that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Mhm.
Yes. How do you get a lot of autistic kids in your
I
classes?
do. I do. I
Yeah,
do. I would say about 50% of my
50%.
children are
Wow.
autistic. Yes,
Is it
about
and
50.
it's on the spectrum or
Um,
because I know they
normally,
changed it to where I know there used to be like Asperger's,
mhm.
and then but then I've recently heard that they just across the board just autism, and
Yes,
they have
yes,
it all.
they
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
specifically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
One thing I've noticed personally about autistic kids is they're very, very intelligent.
Very much
I
so.
really, they're very, very intelligent. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just learning to communicate the way that they understand communication.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I understand it. And but I've
Yeah,
always noticed that they're very, very intelligent,
they
very
are. They are
creative too. Yeah.
very much,
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah. When they have amazing focus. So I wish I had an ounce of their focus.
Oh yeah. Once they,
Yeah.
decide they're
Once
going
they
to do something, that's it.
hmm that's it. There's no stopping them.
I love it because they grasp hold to things so fast, and that's why it's so
Right.
important to um, keep their routine. To find
Right.
out
Yeah.
what makes them um, continue to do leaps and bounds. What you don't want to do is
Right.
aggravate them or make them shut down or interrupt,
Mhm.
you know, the way they do
Mm.
things. Teach them how to do
Mm.
things, but allow them to let you know how they learn. And once you understand
Ah, okay.
how they learn, then you can apply
Mhm.
what you need to apply to them. But you
Mm.
gotta you gotta see it from their eyes.
Right.
It's no
Right.
way that you can make them do what you want them to do or this, that, and the other. You gotta see how they see it because their
Mhm.
brain is thinking differently than yours. And you gotta
That's
see
true.
it's kind of like me looking in the natural trying to see spiritual. That's
Right.
the way I see it
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
won't understand that, but
Mhm.
that's the way I
I
see
get
it.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the whole title of this show.
Mhm.
That's very true. So how can people support
Autism.
your book besides buying your book? What other
Talk
ways can
about
people support you? Talk,
uh
share.
just yeah, talk and share. I mean,
Yeah.
if I could just give it to everybody in the world to make a
Mhm.
difference, to make people behave the way they should when it
Yeah.
comes to our kids. And I call them our kids because they're the world kids. Everywhere,
Yeah.
somewhere, there's an autistic child. So they're our kids. So
Yes. Yeah.
we just need to support one another. We need to support the parents more than we do. Give the parent a day of
Yeah.
rest. Give them more information on how to understand what their child is going through. Support groups,
Mhm.
advocates. It's just a whole
Right.
lot that they need when they're dealing with
Yeah.
special needs children.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, the whole family needs support
Oh
for that.
yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, so people can support you by sharing your message, sharing your book.
Mhm.
Uh, like I always see these posts on Facebook about I don't know
Mhm.
how it's like 10 free ways to support an author, and
Mhm.
just sharing a post, liking a post. I don't think people
Mhm.
understand it. It helps. It
It does.
helps.
It does.
And sometimes that means more to us than of course it's great when you buy the book, but it means a lot when you share it also, because maybe it's not something you you might be interested in, but there's somebody else who would be happy to
That's
read it.
true. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say, and I don't expect everybody to read my book. I would like
Mhm.
it, but I don't
Yeah,
expect everybody to. It'd be nice.
that's true.
Yeah. But I hope that if you don't like it, that you would give it to somebody who probably would.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
So, well, I guess that brings us to the end of this show. Trying to think of anything else that we can no, we're gonna add in the commercial. Yeah, so it was a wonderful show. I did learn a lot. I did never thought about
Mhm.
volunteering, and I'm gonna confess,
Mhm.
when I used to get those volunteer sign up forms, I ran. I'm not gonna lie, I ran. Here, take my kid. I gotta go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I'm going to admit it. I'm one of those.
Okay. Okay. It's
I
not
might
as
I might
bad,
have.
right?
All right, I had to just be honest. I might have filled out the form, but I just prayed to God you didn't call me. Like, please don't call me. So I'm one of those.
Well, you've been
So
honest. That's the good
right, I'm
start,
being
right?
honest. So the
Mhm.
funny part is you brought that up. I'm like, okay, that's God telling me about myself. So I need to straighten it up. Yeah, I
Oh,
never
goodness.
thought about I never really thought about it because I'm like, oh, volunteer. I
Mhm.
saw volunteer as field trips and being a chaperone on a field trip. That was back in
Okay.
my days. They don't do that no more. So
Okay.
yeah, so I was just, no, I don't want to volunteer. I'll bring food. It
Okay.
was
Oh,
bad.
goodness.
Yeah, but yeah, so it is good. It's don't be like me, volunteer, and
Mhm.
don't pray that they don't call you.
Where
Yeah,
you're at the point of reform right now,
right. Yes.
reformation. So
Live
that's
and
good.
learn. Live
Yeah.
and learn. Especially when God calls you out, you got to live and learn.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh my God. So, well, it was a great interview. I enjoyed it
Mhm.
despite all of our technical difficulties,
Okay.
you
Things
know,
happen.
things happen. It was a great interview. And I hope that the viewers and listeners
Mhm.
gain some insight and look at the world. It's about empathy,
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
it goes just for everybody. Actually, not even beyond just special need children, everybody needs to have empathy. You just having empathy will probably solve a lot of problems. Because I
That's
always say it's okay to disagree with somebody.
mhm.
It's okay. It's okay
Yes.
not to see it through there, but understand that's how they understand things. That's how they
Mhm.
view it, and it's okay. You
Mhm.
know.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. So
Everybody have different opinions on things and how
yes,
things should be. So, yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Very true. Well,
Mhm.
thank you for coming on. Oh, I didn't. You know what? I didn't ask you. You know what's weird?
What's
Hold
that?
on. We missed a couple questions. Yes, we did. Yeah, question. We're just gonna keep going. What advice can you give parents on coping with special needs children? I thought this looked short.
Okay. I believe when you're dealing with your kids,
Mm-hmm.
find support. I think that's one of the biggest things with parents with
Mm-hmm.
children with disabilities, finding support. I don't think you can
Yeah.
get enough support, you know.
Yeah.
There are groups, there are organizations out there that will help. As I was
Mm-hmm.
saying before, maybe you need a day just for some me time. They have
Right.
groups, they have organizations that will come and babysit or take your child or, just
Yeah.
always get some me time. I know a lot of times they don't want to leave their kids, you know, they feel guilty about the way their kid is and, for different reasons.
Yeah.
Always
Right.
somehow find time for yourself, and
Yeah.
that significant other. Because a lot of times I've found out that kids that have so much needs can cause a problem in the home with the
Right.
marriage and different
Right.
things can go on. Being real, just being true
Mm-hmm.
and real.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you gotta find some time for yourselves and trust
Yeah.
someone. You gotta be able to trust someone besides
Right.
yourself or your husband or the wife or your child, other
Right. Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs a break sometimes, Not saying, "Oh,
This
I
is
need a
true.
break from my child," but because your mental state depends on taking care of your child, so you need that mental
Right.
break as well. So I
Yes,
would
yes.
say, yeah, get some support in there. Find out all you can about the disability as well.
Mhm,
Know how
mhm.
to advocate for your own child.
Right.
You're the best advocator, so
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
you find out as much as you can, because hearing it from a social worker, a teacher, a doctor, that's fine, but know it for yourself. So you'll know
Mhm.
the do's and the don'ts. You'll know when someone
Right.
is telling you the truth, or what, you want to be that advocate for your child as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, they need to have that discernment
Mm-hmm.
and
Exactly.
yeah, to understand
Mm-hmm.
how to yeah, I get that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because in my field, I've heard
Mhm.
some slick talkers that know
Really?
their job. They know the job to the letter. They know the
Mhm.
disability to the letter. But some are
Wow.
not in it for the best of the student. Some of them are in it, believe it or not, as low as we get paid. Some of them are in it just for the paycheck. And I've
Yeah.
seen it
Yeah.
so many times.
Yeah.
So many
They don't
times.
care. Yeah.
They'll put down on paper, okay, your child is this or your child that, but you're doing absolutely nothing.
Right.
That's one
Right.
of the things that aggravates me. Seeing another
Yeah.
educator in it just to be in it
Mhm. Mhm.
and could care less about your child, whether they grow or they stay the same, you know. Yeah,
Wow. That's sad.
it
It's
is,
sad, but yeah, it's true.
but
It's,
it
they're
happens.
everywhere in
Mhm.
everything, and yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
need to be with the children though.
Mm. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my god.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So how was it? How this is a funny question for me because of tonight. People won't know what we went through tonight because this will be edited. So and
Okay.
that's my man. We yell at the dog. When you're cooking, she likes to be there to cook too. She wants to help.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
she wants to be the taster.
Okay.
so so in the background, if y'all hear yelling, that's what that is.
That's okay. That's okay.
But as I was saying, people are gonna they may not know all the drama because we're gonna edit as much as we can and fix it up,
Okay.
clean up as much as we can. But the
Okay.
internet was going in and out. The
Mhm.
power decided to shut off only in the room where I was, nowhere else in the house.
Mhm. Okay,
Everywhere else was
see?
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, real suspect.
Okay, yes, honey.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
But despite all of that, how is your experience with the author challenge? It's like, how's your experience going with the author challenge so far, despite all the drama?
Oh, goodness. Oh, my. The author's challenge. Because I did not have anyone to really help me with the process,
Hmm.
I would think that was
Right.
the hardest thing. Um,
Oh, okay,
Trial
okay.
by error was my
Right,
problem. I had to make
right,
mistakes to get it through, and
right, right.
yeah, so I think that was the hardest thing for me. I'm not,
I
I like,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You
Oh,
good?
like you said, I would like to sell books. Of course I would, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really, it's not a big thing for me.
Mm,
I just want to get the word out. I want to help
mm-hmm.
as many people as I can through the literature that is inside of me because of the situations that I've gone through.
Right,
So
right.
that is my thing. Yeah.
That's your goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's important. That's important. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad that I'm meeting so many authors also. I actually had a whole horror story with writing my first book. So I know what that's like, like you
Mhm,
there's so much
mhm,
that you don't know and you're
mhm,
crash coursing it through the
mhm.
whole thing. Just it's just like a
Exactly.
dummy in a crash car. You're just getting
Mhm,
through it. Yep.
mhm.
So,
Yeah,
but you, but you do learn it and you do figure it out, and then you keep going and you keep getting better and better and better.
that's good.
So
Yes.
it's yeah, it's something, but it's one of my it is oh no, now you're gone. So it's gonna take turns on us. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, okay, you can hear me? Okay.
I can.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, yeah, so this author challenge, one thing that I do love is that I get to
Mhm.
meet all these different wonderful authors. And like I've been telling everybody, if it wasn't
Mhm.
for this whole thing, I would never have known about your book. I would have known
Mhm.
about you. And I love
Mhm.
learning about the author more than the book. I like to learn about the author, you can see it.
All right.
But
Okay.
thank you for being
Okay.
on, and it was a blessing getting to know you. And I hope to learn more about you and your books as we continue on our authorship.
All right.
All
Nice
right,
meeting you as well. Thank you for
thank
having
you.
me.
No
All right.
problem. All right, bye bye.
Have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.